I'm going to go to second example. Statements that undermined Lindsay Boylan's claims were ignored in this report. On December 5th, and this is where this all started, with tweets from Lindsay Boylan. On December 5th, she tweeted, now this is 2 weeks. You have to consider the timing of when these tweets started. She had announced about 2 weeks earlier that she was running to be the Manhattan Borough president. So she knew that her tweets at that time were all going to be within her campaign and the platform that she was going to run on. And what she said was she tried to quit 3 times from the governor's office before it stuck. She said, I'm a privileged person. I could opt out, and eventually did. And what she was clearly trying to tell the world is that she opted out because of a toxic work environment that she was being sexually harassed. Well, the evidence is not that that's why Ms. Boylan left. As has been, reported, what happened is that on September 26th of 2018, the Governor's Council met with Ms. Boylan. And the reason for the meeting is that there had been a number of employee complaints about her. The Attorney General's report omits what those allegations were, what was said about Ms. Boylan, what the recommendation was from the Empire State Development Agency. Why? Why didn't they put that in there? When Ms. Boylan was confronted with a number of complaints, she immediately and voluntarily tendered her resignation. She then sent an email throughout the chamber. She was resigning. You want to know what happened 4 days later? She called the governor's council and said she wanted her job back. The governor's office declined to give her job back. She then reached out to the governor to personally intervene. She emailed his assistant, asked to speak with him. He didn't return her call after consulting with a number of people. Why didn't the investigators put this in their report? Particularly when 2 weeks after she started her campaign, she was leading the public to believe a false story, that she left because of sexual harassment and a bad work environment, when in fact she left after being confronted with a number of complaints and then really wanted her job back, and they wouldn't give it back. The fact that this is not in the report goes to Ms. Boylan's credibility, and it goes to the credibility of the investigators and their investigation and their fact-finding. I want to make a last point, the third point. After Ms. Boylan began tweeting in December of 2020, there were phone conversations between Ms. Boylan's primary campaign consultant, a person by the name of Trip Yang, and Letitia James's chief of staff, Ibrahim Khan. Those conversations were about what Ms. Boylan was tweeting about and her intent with respect to the allegation she was going to be making against the governor and what she potentially planned to do. And Trip Yang is having conversations with Ibrahim Khan because they know each other. Letitia James's chief of staff worked with Trip Yang because he was a consultant to her 2018 Attorney General campaign. The investigators were made aware of that those conversations happened. Did the two investigators interview the Attorney General's chief of staff about what Trip Yang had said? That would have been something critical for them to do, and about whether Trip Yang and people within the campaign found what Ms. Boylan was saying to be credible. One of her media campaign consultants, very shortly after she began making these tweets, quit. Did they interview the media consultant about what her conversations were with Lindsay Boylan about these allegations? Ask them. What Ms. Boylan was talking about at the time she first made these allegations could not be more relevant to whether they were credible. The Attorney General's chief of staff should be interviewed, Trip Yang should be interviewed, the media consultant should be interviewed, and emails from the campaign around that time should be subpoenaed.